People are so distracted, so lost, and easily to be influenced. And I don't want to be a part of that. I've already become aware years ago that that's not who I want to be, and I can't keep letting myself get dragged back into it. So now I'm taking a stand. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Amari Kalia. On my channel, I talk about fitness and health as a personal trainer. I talk about mindset and self-development work, and I also travel. So I post that type of content. So if that's what you're interested in seeing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today, I want to talk to you guys about what I'm doing to really change my life and change my mind, and kind of give you guys a little bit of a backstory as to how I got to this point of where I am right now. So I really want to dive deep into the importance of inner work versus external validation. So I'm going to be speaking pretty much from my experience right now and how I've seen so much change within myself in the past about month or so, just by these mainly three things that I'm going to hit on in this video. So anytime I've wanted to make a big change in my life, whether it's change my career, change my income, change how I do things, I usually focus too much on the external changes versus the internal changes. Now, I've always been a very intuitive person, a very self-aware person, where I know what my, toxic traits are, or what things I need to change about myself. But for some reason, whenever I've been focused on growing, those are not the things that I really pour a lot into. I've always pretty much, been in my Bible at least the past couple of years. I've been in it, consistently for the most part. I go to church. I check all the boxes of what a follower of Christ looks like, I guess. And then also, my degrees in social work, so I've always been someone who's pretty educated on why we do certain things. And I've also been to therapy. So I've had experiences in life or background of someone who's very intentional about being a good person and just growing in life. I have a very growth mindset, and I'm a very solution based person. So I'm always seeking to solve problems versus stretching things out. I'm not someone who worries a lot. I wouldn't even consider myself an anxious person. I'm one of those people, I like to get things done. So that gives a little bit of context as to what my personality is like. But what I've realized recently is that if I want to change my life, I can't focus on, and these are things that I've done, getting another degree. I've done that twice. I've tried to get a master's twice. I've been accepted in programs, started the programs, and quit. So my usual methods of changing is going to get a degree, changing my job, or saying, you know what, I'm going to go get a full-time job, knowing that I don't think that that's the path that I'm supposed to be on, at least not right now. So I really wanted to make a point of, when you are looking to change, don't focus on what you need to change externally. Don't focus on getting a new car, getting a new apartment, or going to get all these accolades, getting a new job, especially when you've done that multiple times and there's still not the change that you're looking for. Because the thing is, the world teaches us to chase those things, and we think that those are the things that will make us change / become that person that we see ourselves as. Because when we, at least for me personally, the person that I envision my higher self being has nothing to do with what I have. It's all about my mindset, how I treat people, how people speak of me, whether that's my husband, my kids, my family, I don't have kids, but in the future when I do have kids, and just how I carry myself overall, and how I operate as a person versus seeing myself as having a lot of money, having this car, having that house. Those are not the things that I seek. And I think that everyone, for the most part, has that same spirit inside of them. Everyone wants to be healed. Everyone wants to feel loved. Everyone wants to be at peace. And when we see people, and the thing is, when we are chasing certain things, we think it's about that thing, but really it's something deeper. Like for example, when women, I'm just using women as an example now. When women are chasing after men, it's never usually about the man. It's usually just them seeking attention, seeking love, seeking that validation or that comfort or that protection, because they may have lacked that maybe when I grew up, or maybe had a bad experience in relationships. So that's just an example of like how we are all seeking the same thing, and it just shows up in different ways for every individual. But what we all have been taught to do from the time we were children in school, unless you had amazing parents, we are taught to focus on the physical reality. We are taught to focus on our careers, building a family, and retirement. We are not taught to focus on changing ourselves, changing our attitudes, changing our mindsets, changing our brain, because we can do that. Those are things that we can do. We can rewire our brain. It's just not something that we are taught to do. So bringing it back to me personally, I'm someone who has very high standards for myself, and I've always thought the way to get that recognition or validation is by, you know, excelling well in school, which is cool, but like that's not really going to bring me what I'm looking for. That's really just something that's fleeting and something that will really not bring me that ultimate peace or contentment that I'm looking for. So now that I'm in a stage in my life where, yes, I want to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I know that it's possible. I know that it's on my path, and I know that I can do it. I once before would focus on the business, which of course, yeah, you need to make sure that you have systems in place. You want to make sure that you have a brand, and you want to make sure that you have some sort of presence on wherever you are marketing yourself as a business owner. But that's not the only thing you want to focus on. You need to focus on the inner work, because a lot of things that's holding you back from being the highest version of you is you. It's not the tripod that you have. It's not the colors of your business. It's not, you know, if you have certain things in place, it's you. Whether that's your limiting beliefs, whether that's your laziness and procrastination, whether that is your environment, who you're listening to, what you're listening to, how you spending your time. All those things are what really matter the most what really matters the most when it comes to why you're not seeing the results that you're looking for. And that's with anything in your life, not just with the business. That's with relationships. That's with, I had something else on the tip of my tongue I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. But now I'm going to go into what I'm doing right now to really focus on growing and changing the course of my life. So number one, and these are things that I've been doing for a while now. So like I'm speaking on experience, and I can say that my life has changed. And when I say my life has changed, I mean that I have changed. So I'm focused on inner work. That's like the overall goal here. And so one thing that I'm really focused on is my environment. So who I'm around and what I'm consuming. I have really distanced myself from family. I have distanced myself from a lot of jobs that I was doing that really wasn't serving me. It was all about the dollar sign, but it really wasn't helping me grow to where I'm trying to go. So I've cut out so many things. Like as a personal trainer, I teach classes, I have in-person clients, I have online clients, and I also work for a corporate wellness company part-time. So I've literally cut out all of my classes that I was teaching. I've cut out a lot of my in-person clients. I only have a few now. And then, like I said, I'm really just focused on building my online business. So I've really been paying attention to my environment. And what really sparked this was my husband and I went out of town for, it was at the end of May for his sister's 1 year wedding anniversary. So we went to their uncle's house, and basically I was surrounded around maybe 3 or 4 other married couples, and it was life-changing. Like the conversations that we were having, the rawness, the openness, the being able to be myself fully, I've never been able to really do that around I guess like family oriented people. Like for my family personally, like it's just not something that I'm able to do because we're just not on the same frequency, and that's okay. But just being around his family and just like, and even some of their friends, and just being able to learn from them and they learn from me, it was truly eye-opening in how important it is to be in a community and also just be around people who are either doing better than you or are on the same frequency as you. You don't feel like you have to water yourself down. You don't feel like you have to stay silent or not use your voice. And so it really made me think like, dang, like who you are around plays a huge role in how you operate. If you are around people who are lack-minded, who are complainers, who don't really have big goals or dreams for their lives, they will drain you and they will suck the life out of you like vampires. That's been my theme ever since Sinners came out. But you just don't want to be around those type of people. So I've limited my contact. I haven't 100% cut these people off because most of them are family, but I have limited my contact with them and just leaving more space open for people that are meant to be in my circle, and asking God to put me around rooms and put me in environments where I'm able to grow and really elevate the way that I think, and also be on a vibration that suits where I'm trying to go in life. So I've really been paying attention to my environment. I've also been really paying attention to what I consume. So right now I'm doing a 21-day challenge where every single day, this is just a part of the challenge and that I'll mention for this video. One aspect of the challenge is that I have to listen to a mindset video from YouTube, podcast, whatever, which for me is always YouTube, at least once a day. Well, the more you consume, like what you consume is what you will seek out. That's what you will crave. So one turns into 2, 3, sometimes 4 videos a day. Not all at once. It'll be sporadic, maybe in the mornings, midday, and then one at night. But to some people that's like excessive, but I'm somebody who does take action. I am taking action with what I want to do. But like just having these videos that are renewing my mind and changing the way that I think and really putting me on that level that where I want to be at is just, it's amazing. And it's crazy because I've been in a challenge for about, this is my 2nd week on the challenge, but I was already doing it before I started the challenge. And let me tell you guys, the way that I think now is just totally different. I have more of a no-nonsense complex. I have more of a, I'm focused, I'm motivated, I am resting more. I am just really locked in with who God wants me to be. And I know for a fact it's mainly because I have been focused on renewing my mind and paying attention to what I consume. I deleted my main Instagram, so like my personal Instagram, because I'm like, I don't need that. Like all I was doing was following people and seeing what they were doing with their personal lives. I don't care about that. I only have my business Instagram now, and I love it because I personally don't like social media, but I have it because I have a business and I know that that's going to be one of the top ways for me to grow my business. But I like just having that business Instagram. I only follow people that are aligned with my business or aligned with my growth. So of course, other fitness influencers, mindset coaches, whatever you want to call it. Those are the only type of pages that I follow on my business page. And that makes a huge difference. So paying attention to what you consume in your environment is very important when it comes to changing your life. So the next thing that I'm really focused on, and this is a lot deeper because I am married. I've been married for almost 3 months, but we've been together for almost 8 years. But I'm really focused on my attitude and my reactions when I get triggered. So I have a very sarcastic and smart mouth. And sometimes when I react, even though I've learned so much because I am also reading. Right now, I'm in a book club and we're reading, I wish I had it with me. We're reading The Power of Now, which is an amazing book about being present and just paying attention to your mind. And I learned something so important, and it's just crazy because what happens is, even though I know to do better, I still act in a certain way when I'm triggered. And I'm putting this in quotations because it's really not a real thing once you understand it. But so I'm really focused on growing myself as a woman and letting go of a lot of those toxic and negative habits and traits that I was raised under. And also, we've been conditioned as women to act a certain way and to think a certain way and to treat men a certain way. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be an angry black woman. And I'm standing on that. So I'm really focused on changing my attitude, changing my mind, and that takes a lot of deep work and it takes a lot of hard conversations. But that's one of the things that I'm really focused on, because I know that that will also help me as a business owner, that will also help me as a wife, that will help me as a mom, as a friend, as a sister. And so, like I said, who I envision myself as my highest level, is someone that people will love to talk to, someone that people love to be around. My energy is magnetic and my energy is attracting great things. And so I can't be that person if I have a negative attitude towards my husband or whoever. So that's one of the top things that I'm focused on right now. I'm really working on my inner self and getting rid of those toxic actions and mindsets and attitudes. And then lastly, as I kind of mentioned this before, I'm really focusing on my negative thoughts and self-doubt. So I'll speak on this really quick. One thing that I do a lot when I'm on this cycle of change, as I mentioned earlier, let's say for my business, for example, I know that I want to be an entrepreneur. I've had my business for 2 years now and I have seen growth, but I get negative thoughts, I get self-doubt, I start to be hard on myself, or I start to have some disbelief about myself. And then my next action is, you know what, I'm just going to get a job because, you know, it's stable income. I know exactly what I'll be having coming in every week. Like, that's what I need to focus on. And so then that alters my reality and that alters what I said I was going to do. And so then that changes my life. It changes the course of my life because of one or two negative thoughts. So now that I've been, consuming certain type of content, I've been reading books to help me understand my thoughts and understanding that I don't have to take these thoughts captive and own them. They don't have to resonate with me. I don't have to allow these thoughts to become my identity. Now that I'm learning that, I'm able to now be more aware, and also I'm learning what to do whenever I do have those negative thoughts. So I've been really paying attention, and my theme has been renewing the mind. So I have been really intentional about that. I am watching what I say when I talk to people. I'm watching, what I'm consuming, even with TikTok, with the TV shows, with the movies. Like, I don't want anything that's not serving me to influence me in a negative way. So like, even if I do watch a TV show, if I hear something that's like not aligned with where I'm trying to go, I'm going to turn it off, which honestly, I don't really watch TV like that. So that's not an issue. But mainly just having conversations with people who are, like I said, having a lacking mindset, who think that everything is expensive, who, are struggling with, figuring out what they want to do with their life. Not to say they don't have that right, but I just know where I'm headed and I know the type of environment that I need to be in. I need to be around people who've already reached certain goals in their life, because if I'm the only person around me who sees, this high standard for myself, but everybody else around me is just still thinking so small, I'm going to unconsciously bring myself down to their level. And that's not what I want to do. I want to bring myself up to someone else's level. So renewing my mind is very important. So like I said, the top things I've been doing to do that: listening to content that is a lot of Bob Proctor, Steve Harvey, Kobe Bryant. I also have some women that I listen to consistently as like mindset coaches, feminine energy coaches, womanhood coaches or influencers. Because like I said, I am focused on my growth as a woman overall and as a wife. And then obviously getting close to God. So I've been reading my Bible heavily, making sure that I stay in the house of the Lord, staying in the church. And then lastly, but definitely not the least important, I am making sure that I am talking more to people who are also trying to change their life. So like I said, the book club that I'm in is me, my husband, his sister, so my sister-in-law and her husband. and we're reading this book called The Power of Now. And we read a chapter and then we have a very deep conversation, just going through the book, going through what we read, what we learned from it, or just things that we're questioning when it comes to the book. And that is so empowering. You guys don't realize how important it is to have these type of conversations, and you don't realize how much foolishness we really talk about once you start having these type of conversations. So now when I go around certain people and I hear what they bring up, I'm like, dang, like, we are so distracted. Let me not say we. People are so distracted, so lost, and easily to be influenced. And I don't want to be a part of that. I've already become aware years ago that that's not who I want to be. And I can't keep letting myself get dragged back into it. So now I'm taking a stand. I'm being very intentional with my time and my energy, which I will get into in another video when it comes to that, because that's really big for me right now. But yeah, so I'll end this video with a scripture. So 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 through 4. Don't be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God. So even though that spoke specifically to external beauty when it comes to women, and I don't think that the Bible is saying don't care about how you look, because that's not what it's saying. But I think that it's so important that us as women, we just really focus on growing internally, which is why I'm really cautious about who I listen to when it comes to these feminine energy coaches and, you know, womanhood coaches, because I don't want to follow anybody or listen to somebody who's only focused on hygiene, how to speak, you know, things like that, because I believe that all of that stuff is rooted in your heart and in your mind. So what this verse is telling me is that focusing on the beauty that comes from within, that is so powerful to me. You're focusing on what comes out of your heart, what comes out of your mouth. And that is influenced by here and here. What comes out of your mouth is influenced by what you think and how you feel. So if these two are not in check, what's going to come out of here is chaos, it's depression, it's anger, it's lack. So I'm focusing on that because I want to make sure that I'm spreading love, positivity, growth, and empowerment. So I hope you guys got something from this video. Please expect more, as I am really heavy on my inner work journey. So if you enjoyed this video, comment what you think about it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.